Hi, my name is Joe Montanti, and today I'll be doing my rhetorical criticism speech on the song Fortunate Son by Creedence Clearwater Survival. The song Fortunate Son by Creedence Clearwater Survival is a song about the very famous war, the Vietnam War, that lasted from 1955 to 1975. CCS was protesting the Vietnam War in the 1960s, and they were wording the song to show that they did not support the war because very many people didn't like the war. I've listened to the song probably close to 100 times, and more and more every time I listen to the song, it points out that there are different meanings and different lyrics. Most people listen to music every day and they enjoy the songs, and they don't realize that a lot of songs have meaning to them. A quote from Creedence Clearwater Survival is, "It ain't me, I ain't no senator's son," which means that if you had a parent that was in the government, you were avoided from the draft and you didn't have to get drafted into the war. During the Vietnam War, men from the age of 18 to 26 were drafted into the war because soldiers were dying very quickly and they needed more soldiers to go out and fight the war. CCS made a song in 1969 to protest the Vietnam War because many Americans did not approve of it. The Vietnam War was not very liked in the 1960s because when the Viet Cong would attack the Americans, they would use anyone they could get to bomb the Americans. So the soldiers had to kill innocent men and women and children just so that they could survive and live to see their families for the rest of their lives. The song, they repeat over and over, "It ain't me, I ain't no senator's son," all throughout the song. This means that kids who have parents that work in the government were not getting drafted into war, as I said before. The government was drafting men from the age of 18 to 26, born on January 1st, 1944 to December 30th, 1950. Most of the men that were drafted were coming from poor families that are lived in poverty, and not very many people that were drafted were in rich families and that had very many privileges. In the song, they quote, "Some folks inherit star-spangled eyes," meaning that there are men and women out there that push to fight for America and serve their country. While the war was going on, 2/3 of Americans actually volunteered to go fight in the war. With that being said, the last third of the Americans got drafted. As I stated before, people were getting killed constantly and just dying, and we were losing the war because people were just bombing out of nowhere, and the Viet Cong was using a war strategy called guerrilla warfare, which means they would hide and come out of nowhere and just bomb, and kill all of our soldiers. The draft was set up as a lottery draft, so they picked certain days and certain months. And if you were selected on your birthday, then you got drafted into the war. Now, today, people cannot get drafted into the war because of what happened and how many people protested the Vietnam War. Later in the song, they say that the people who are born with star-spangled eyes, they ask, "How much could we give?" And they say, "Woo," they answer, "More, more, more," meaning they wanted the most out of the people who were drafted into the war. The song has different lines throughout and different meanings that prevail, different meanings about how they feel about getting drafted and going into an unwanted war. The song quotes different times saying, "It ain't me, I ain't no senator's son," which means that if you didn't have a parent or anyone that you knew that was in the government, you were getting drafted. Clearwater Survival states many times that they do not want to have a draft, and they think it is unfair because people who lived in poverty were getting drafted more than people who lived with privilege. When you listen to a song that has very high meaning to you, next time you listen to it, you should listen to it a little deeper so that you can realize what they're actually saying in the meaning of the song, so that you can get a little different aspect of it and a little different view. The song is very well known in America and how they do not support the draft, and they did not draft it fairly. Everyone knows that what this song means and that this song was about the Vietnam War. Thank you.